We slept in real late today and hung around the hotel for a while because once we get underway, it's going to be quite a while before we get any good sleep because we're taking the red-eye express train back to the Netherlands tonight. It's late afternoon now, and we're supposed to meet a gentleman that's going to take us in and around Berlin and other locations that would be interesting historical locations throughout Berlin. But first, we're going to visit one of Berlin's top historical locations, the Brandenburg Gate.
You are standing next to one of Europe's most famous landmarks and the most iconic site in Berlin, the Brandenburger Tor. This monument, also known as the Brandenburg Gate, was designed by Karl Gotthard Langhans and constructed between 1788 and 1791 by order of the Prussian King Friedrich Wilhelm II. The gate used to be part of the old city wall and was one of a total of 8 gates leading into the city. Like much of the architecture of the time, the gate design is inspired by ancient Greek architecture and has many resemblances to the gateway to the Acropolis in Athens. The gate itself is 26 meters high, 65.5 meters wide, and 11 meters deep. As you can see, on the top of the gate stands a large statue. This is the quadriga, the 4 horse-drawn chariots. The chariot is driven by Victoria, the Roman goddess of victory. The quadriga was built in 1793 and designed by Johann Gottfried Schadow as a symbol of peace. What many people don't know is that even though the gate itself has remained more or less intact over the years, the statue on top of it has been changed several times.
You got me saying, hey, I'm tired of feeling technology, but it is a time to top on me, hey, I'm tired of feeling technology.
And of course, in any major city, we will have street performers.
During the Cold War and the rise of the Berlin Wall, the gate became inaccessible to West Berliners, and in a large extent also to East Berliners. As the war collapsed, the gate once again became the symbol of freedom and unity as it is today. On December 22nd, 1989, the Brandenburg Gate reopened when Helmut Kohl and the West German Chancellor walked through to be greeted by Hans Modrow, the East German Prime Minister. The gate became the central place of celebration and the icon for the German reunion. After the German reunification, the Prussian Eagle and the Iron Cross were restored in 1990, which until then had been kept in an East Berlin museum.
The streets and boulevards here are just completely filled with historical information with every turn you make. And here's a depiction of what actually took place on this very boulevard that we are standing on now during World War II. It's hard to believe that just one person could lead so many people into ruin and not realize it. We finally made contact with our driver and carriage and started our tour through Berlin on this sunset carriage ride. This is the Hotel Adlon. You may remember it as the place where Michael Jackson dangled his baby over the balcony. Oh, the fun one can have while staying in Berlin. Well, with the sun going down, the temperature also went down. It was close to about 68 degrees, but they supplied us with a nice throw to wrap up in. What they really should have had is a bronze mount textile throw.
What's this? The doggy. Hudson.
We saw some really nice architecture as we rolled through the city.
This is a beautiful place here in Berlin. 2006 was this a beautiful place in Europe?
It is. Beautiful.
On the place stand here the French cathedral, in the middle the concert house, and on the other side cathedral.
They are identical.
White monument here in the middle. This is Schiller. Schiller was a German componist for classical music. He places the first track for the concert house.
No kidding, wow. He's the first to play the concert house.
And 1989.
And this is where the Berlin Wall once stood.
And the small building here in the front, this is a checkpoint.
If individual deaths were horrifying, the wall engendered other dramas that were nerve-wracking for the world. None more so than a showdown at Checkpoint Charlie between Soviet and American tanks that began on October 25, 1961, just 2 months after the wall was installed. Under the World War II Four Powers Agreement, the U.S. had absolute right of movement into East Berlin, but suddenly, East Berlin began to contest that right and would not let American jeeps pass without showing papers. In the jittery context of the Cold War, it was just the kind of incident that could spin out of control. Especially
We are now
with 30
leaving
US
West Berlin
32
and
Soviet
entering
tanks
East
facing
Berlin.
each other.
This
Engines
large
running,
photo is of a Russian
cannons
soldier
loaded.
standing guard looking west, and on the opposite side is an American soldier looking east standing guard at this Checkpoint Charlie.
The worst case scenario was that somebody lose a nerve. A soldier with a gun in a building would lose his nerve and a tank would fire, and they're firing on us, we're firing on them, and it goes all the way back.
The crisis ended after 3 days when Khrushchev ordered the Soviet tanks to slowly back away, and the East Germans once again allowed U.S. soldiers to move freely in and out of Berlin.
We wanted to get on the Berlin High Flyer as we did in Warsaw, but it was too late in the afternoon and they closed it down for the day. And this is what's left of the original Berlin Wall. Notice all the pieces that have been removed. Well, they have a name for the people that come to do that. It's called peckers. And what they do is they peck at the wall to get a piece to take home with them. And this is the results.
Du hast mich. Du hast mich. Du hast mich.
This is the last wall tower.
The last war tower?
Yes. This street here, this is Niemandsland, nobody land.
No man's land.
Yes, no. And this was 3 zones. The first zone, this here,
Yes.
was the soldier with the guns. The next zone was the automatic guns.
Yep.
And the last zone was with the dogs. And then come the war. This building here is the Martin Gropius Bau. This is a very old museum. And on the other side is the Berlin Senat of politics.
Traveling through Berlin, you're going to see every imaginable style of building, from Gothic, Baroque, Socialist, Futuristic, yet somehow it all works magnificently. The water table in Berlin is about 4 feet below the surface, so they need to pump the water out of the city by these bright purple pipes.
4. Juli 2008, Independence Day. Under this place was the Hitler bunker. Führerbunker.
Outside Hitler's area shelter at the Chancellery is the spot where the bodies of Hitler and his alleged wife, Eva Braun, said to have been burned. An SS man says he saw the bodies soaked in petrol and watched them burn. This be the end of the Hitler.
Wir intolerante, unverträgliche Menschen sein. Wir wollten, sagen sie, mit anderen Parteien nicht arbeiten. Die Herren haben ganz recht. Bis heute 14 Millionen zu machen und ich werde aus... Wir intolerante, unverträgliche Menschen sein. Wir wollten, sagen sie, mit anderen Parteien nicht arbeiten. Die Herren haben ganz recht. Wir intolerante, unverträgliche Menschen sein. Wir wollten sagen, es lebe die nationalsozialistische Bewegung, es lebe Deutschland!
There we go.
Well, we've had a great time in Berlin. The sun is going down. This is our last evening in Germany. We will be taking the City Night line tonight. We will be boarding at midnight for a 7-hour run to the Netherlands in downtown Amsterdam. It's about a 450-mile run with I think 1 or 2 stops. We did reserve a stateroom, and it does have a lounge carriage, so we should be quite comfortable on the way back. So now it's back to the hotel, have some dinner, and then we will take a short cab ride to the station and board our train. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
This is how Russia battered open the door of Berlin in the last weeks of April. The city's last days as capital of Hitler's Reich. Landmarks of the beaten town, the Reichstag, the Brandenburg Gate, the Brandenburg Gate. Shell-scarred and broken, they were. Every guidebook boosted them. The official hour of the British occupation took place in front of the German Victory Monument overlooking the Tiergarten in the Charlottenburger Strasse.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.